Self-proclaimed king, a groper-in-chief, stealing our country, a crooked orange thief. Faux patriots who are poorly educated, wearing red hats and also unvaccinated. Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk on the left, that's right. A failing media that's barely treading water. They're too inept to fight this new world order. Corporate pigs are at the trough, hear the squeals. The swine won't bite the hands that feeds them meals. But Liberal Dan will see us flow. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk comes the left, that's right. A leftist voice on air, exposing MAGA treason, breaking through their lies with facts, logic, and reason. Unmasking hypocrisy, the truth will be our guide. Call out their lies, justice is on our side. 'Cause Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk on the left, that's right. Liberal Dan Radio, talk on the left, that's right.
And, well, welcome to Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. Apparently last show we were having audio problems. This show apparently we're having video problems. There was a little hiccup when I unplugged in and replugged in the camera to get it to actually turn on, but now for some reason it's not turning on at all. So I don't know. I mean, it's on, but it's just not showing that I'm on. Like I can actually I can see, if you like see my hand moving with that X right there, like you could see a little bit of movement going on right there, but I don't know why it's not actually showing up on the device. So let's try and do a little quick bit of troubleshooting real quickly and see if we can get what's going on fixed. But for some reason, for some reason it's just not showing like the actual. That's so weird. Let's try and fix this again, or maybe we just change the camera to the internal one and see if that works. No, I don't know. Yes, gremlins have invaded my devices today. I don't know what's going on. Like, again, like you could see, like for some reason the camera is just not wanting to show up. I don't know why. That's so flippin' weird. So you may just have audio version of Liberal Dan Radio Talk from the Left, That's Right today, because for some reason I don't know why this ain't working. So you might just have to listen to me like the old days when I was only on Blog Talk Radio. And there you go. Let's see. Let's plug it in and replug it in again and see what's going on with it. Now you just have this little X thing there, and it's not working right. And I don't know if it's a problem with the software or if it's a problem with whatever, but we will just have to, I guess, let me see if there's a setting issue there. No. It's webcam properties. It should be there. I don't know what's going on with it. But like you could see that I'm like, if you see like the X, you see I'm kind of waving. So it's there, but let me see. You might just have to see my nasty, dirty, my nasty, messy thing, and my background. We'll see if that pulls up. No, that's not even working either. Maybe I need a new webcam. Lovely. I don't know what's going on with my webcam. Let's see. Let's try this. Or maybe I need, let's see if I can use the integrated camera. Now it's just showing up a lock, that it's locked. That's so weird. Bizarre. Yeah, look at that. I don't know what's going on with my video. Maybe there's a video issue with my video drivers. I don't know. Yeah. We're just going to have an audio show today, apparently. Anyway, so welcome to Liberal Dan Radio Talk from the Left, That's Right. Host Dan Zimmerman coming at you live from New Orleans, Louisiana, going live early today if you follow me on any of my social media channels. The YouTube here, obviously you're following me on YouTube, but I made the post here. I made the post on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Facebook as well, all basically saying that I was going to go live early today because there are just certain things that I wanted to talk about and not let it go till Wednesday, but obviously I can't go to 8 because my prep starts at 8 and we don't need that. So anyway, support the show, like the video, share, subscribe to the channel. Go to Venmo, Liberal Dan, buy me a coffee, go to liberaldan.com, click the buy me a cider button, or go to buymeacoffee.com/liberaldanradio. Either way will get you there. Subscribe to the channel, be a Liberal Danimal, gift memberships here on YouTube, gift memberships on Twitch, and all the different, fun things that can be done to support the show. But the most important thing to do, obviously, is to like, share, subscribe, help the algorithm. Al Gore needs more rhythm. Shouts out to Jackie, Fancy, Mad Mac, Aaron, Big Hook, Jeff from just north of Uranus. Anything else? Can I play videos? That's a good question. We can see if we can play videos for a second. Let's go to here. Let's go to. I mean, I could go to. Let's go to this. Let's go to liberaldanradio.com. Go to there. Go to my National Brotherhood Week video.
Got safety protocols? Grainger has the Safety Pros 2 call. Shop our vast inventory.
Oh, the white folks hate the black folks, and the black folks hate the white folks to hate all. But
so I don't know. So it's there. I just can't do it. Oh, it's Impeccable Living is here too.
Oh my.
Welcome to the show. Thank you. You're just not going to be able to see me today because something is going wrong with the camera, and I don't want to just shut everything down and restart. I mean, I have tried just unplugging the camera and replugging it in again and seeing if that works, but I don't know. Just all sorts of technical snafus going on with this BS, and so I'm a little annoyed at the fact that my, systems are failing me. But who knows? Who knows why it is going the way it's going? But, as Donald Trump says,
it is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. See, I thought I fixed everything because I thought I fixed that. Maybe this. Let's see. System. Maybe go to video. Display. Video playback. Process video automatically. No. Save bandwidth. No resolution. No. I don't think that's working. That's not necessarily what I need. Camera. Choose which apps can access your camera. On. Let's see. I wonder if that'll work. See that. Integrated camera. Nope, that's still not working. Oh well. Again, as Donald Trump says,
it is what it is.
I guess I gotta check that too now before I start every show, because who the hell knows what's going on? And I'll just have to fix this before we go live Wednesday, and we'll just talk about all the stuff we want to talk about today, and we'll just do it as just audio without my, lovely face, right? First and foremost, one of the interesting things that I heard about today is there is a zoo. There is a zoo in where's that link? There it is. A zoo in Denmark has appealed to the public to donate their healthy unwanted pets as part of a unique effort to provide food to its predators. The Aalborg Zoo, I don't know if I pronounced it right, has asked for donations of live chickens, rabbits, and guinea pigs, which it says are gently euthanized by trained staff. The zoo also accepts donation of live horses, with owners able to benefit from a potential tax break. The zoo says the food provided this way will be reminiscent of what it would naturally hunt in the wild, especially true for the Eurasian lynx. Other predators at the zoo include lions and tigers, but no bears. Lions and tigers, but no bears.
Oh my.
There we go. Small animals can be donated on weekdays with no more than 4 at a time without an appointment. So you can donate up to more than 4 of your pets for slaughter. But I think it's disappointing that they aren't talking about bringing in pigeons. What about pigeons? You could because it's not against any religion to want to dispose of a pigeon, as maybe we'll hear after the show when we're doing the outro and listen to Poisoning Pigeons in the Park again. But yeah, I just read that article and I was like, what the hell? Like, if you, I think that maybe it's a test. Maybe they're like testing to see if you are a good pet owner or a bad pet owner, and trying to see whether or not you would send your pets off to be murdered by zoo animals. And if so, maybe they'll take the rest of your pets away from you too. I don't know. But this is just weird. I mean, I understand that, you know, in the wild, animals kill other animals, no problem. But the fact that they're asking people to donate their pets is just, what? Like, come on. That can't be, whatever. Check my mic level again? Jesus Christ. Everything is going kablooey these days. Input, yeah, could be higher. Anyway, all sorts of technical difficulties going on. The snake exhibit is falling on hard times. Yeah. So anyway, that's the Denmark Zoo. Can we donate like politicians? Because I think that would be ethical and moral to be able to donate politicians to the zoo. Let the animals feast on some certain politicians in particular. So one of the other interesting things today that I was reading about is Marge Taylor Greene, MTG, 6B, claims that sexism is rampant within the Republican Party. Water makes things wet. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. And the Republican Party is also I'm wondering if she realized that the Republican Party is also full of racism as well, and anti-Semitism. I mean, she is part of the anti-Semitism in the Republican Party. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail, the outspoken Georgia representative opened up about her frustrations with her party while hinting she is planning an exit over several issues, from policy party differences to sexist culture amongst its ranks. Greene, who's 51, claims a good old boys club, ranging from donors to politicians, has complete control over the party reins, to the ire of many women in the party who feel overlooked and snubbed. Well, maybe y'all should stop being frickin' Republicans then, if you feel that you're being overlooked and snubbed. I mean, this is the party that you knew this party and what they stood for. But I guess something made all 6B feel that, you know, it was just a line too far, just a little bit too far. I think there's other women, Republican women, and I'm just giving my opinion here, who are really sick and tired of them. Greene, who is the largest following any Republican woman, pointed to Elise Stefanik, an example of women in the GOP who have been shafted. The representative had her Trump-endorsed bid for U.S. ambassador rescinded by the White House after receiving a slim majority in the House. However, Greene had a different view on the turn of events. I mean, she got screwed by Mike Johnson, and she got screwed by the White House. Greene said she's not afraid of Mike Johnson at all. Well, I mean, Mike Johnson has such low character that he has to rely on his child to keep himself from watching porn, apparently. So I wouldn't be scared of Mike Johnson either. I mean, he's a dweeb. I mean, look at that. He's just a freaking goober. Anybody who would be afraid of Mike Johnson is, you know, needs a little spine check. Go to the chiropractor. Get your back checked out. Jeff goes, can I donate my neighbor's pet chickens? They've been shitting in my yard. Hilarious. What's up, Jan? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Anyway, so yeah, that's all Marge Greene there talking about, you know, how she feels that the Republican Party is sexist. Yeah, great. Wonder what else she's going to come up with. What other, you know, genius your epiphanies that she's going to come up with. Yeah. So, but let's start talking about some of the main things we wanted to talk about today. Because again, we're not going to stay live too long. Maybe about 7:15ish or whatever. I don't know. My time. Just because I need to make sure to continue to drink my fluids and then be ready to go for when it's time to start my prep at 8 o'clock my time. So you'll still hear me drinking. I have a whole assortment of drinks here right now. I have, I could show you if my camera was working. I have like beef bouillon. I have Gatorade. I have water. I just finished an Italian ice. All the things that the doctor says are kosher for me to eat today during the course of the day with my purely liquid diet. I'm not really very hungry today, though. I mean, I have been drinking a lot of beverages, so I mean, I would hope that it would keep my stomach full, but I'm just not looking forward to later tonight. Anyway, so part of the news that was going on is... Start recording this one as well, even though you're not going to see my as my Jewish heritage would say, not see my punum. Donald Trump fired Erica McIntarfer, who was appointed by Biden. So I'm shocked that she was still around even beforehand. And she basically gave numbers that Donald Trump didn't like. Now, the numbers were true, but he just didn't like the numbers. He thought the numbers made him look bad. I mean, it's his own actions that make him look bad. But again, the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics from Donald Trump's first term is panning Trump's Friday firing of Erica McIntarfer, who oversaw July's jobs report that rankled the president and suggested a slowdown in the economy. Bill Beach, who Trump tapped for the top job at BLS in 2017, said Sunday that the president's suggestions that McIntarfer had rigged the jobs report betrayed a misunderstanding in the data collection and reporting standards at the Bureau, which compiles statistics on critical economic factors, including inflation and employment. There's no way for that to happen, Beach told CNN's Casey Hunt on the State of the Union. The commissioner doesn't do anything to collect the numbers. The commissioner doesn't see the numbers for until Wednesday before they're published. By the time the commissioner sees the numbers, they're all already prepared. So the commissioner had nothing to do with the numbers. She just said them. And that's the point. The point is not that the numbers exist, is that she shared them. She let them know. She revealed the numbers to everybody else. And as we all know here on Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. Donald Trump doesn't like people knowing the numbers. We already know that we can't trust the numbers from the Trump administration on border crossings because they are basically determining how many border crossings that we're supposedly having based on the encounters that ICE and Border Patrol or whatever are having with these individuals. But how many of the people have crossed the border and have slipped past ICE and Border Patrol simply because of the fact that ICE and Border Patrol are targeting other areas? Norfolk, Virginia, trying to, deport cruise ship workers for with no proof that they had any wrongdoings that they did, including having horrible pictures on their phones. But again, there's no proof of it. Detaining and wanting to deport a PhD student who had a green card. Detaining a child who was a U.S. citizen who was getting care for brain cancer. Deporting someone who was here legally as a child getting medical care. They are targeting all these low-hanging fruit and even removing these legal statuses of these people, trying to target these people to get them seized, detained, and deported. So how are they on the border as well? This administration absolutely cannot walk and chew gum at the same time. You can't trust Donald Trump's infectious disease numbers. I mean, first of all, even ignoring what he said during the end of his term, in the first term in 2020, he has the brainworm in chief, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's in charge of the Department of Health, who doesn't trust vaccines, who says no vaccines are safe. But you also have the fact that he did say at the Tulsa, Oklahoma rally that he wanted them to slow down or stop the testing because when you have more testing, you have more cases, because he didn't want you knowing how many cases existed. He doesn't want people knowing the truth about the numbers. So we also have the fact that they claimed there was a budget surplus in June of 2025. But the reason there was a budget surplus is because they spent the money that was supposed to be spent in June and May. So they counted the May numbers, the June numbers for the expenditures towards the May numbers, which meant that they can have an artificially inflated budget surplus, when if you include the June expenditures for the month of June in the month of June's numbers, you then still have a budget shortfall. You still have a budget deficit. Anyway, so if you can't trust any of these other numbers, why would you trust Donald Trump on whether or not this data is correct as well? And he's going to keep firing people who make him look bad, when in reality, that should mean he should fire himself. But anybody who still believes the manipulator-in-chief on any of the numbers that this administration comes out with, you're a fool. And you will just... I mean, Donald Trump did say he loved the poorly educated after the 2016 Nevada primaries, and people who still continue to believe him are just trying to earn that love every day. Anyway, so another See, I even made like additional backgrounds for this show or whatever, just to make sure that we could talk about stuff, you know. And of course, you don't get to. My camera won't work. Very annoyed, honestly. Let's see. Because let's not forget abusive governmental data to locate where immigrants are used. Talking about ICE used by illegally entering private residence, thanks to SCOTUS. Exactly, that's true. But that's them abusing their numbers and not lying about the numbers in and of themselves. So it's a big hook. I got a big 4-liter water jug of the laxative that had to be consumed along with the fast colonoscopy ready. Yeah, I have to mix. I guess there's 2 bottles. I have to have one at 8 p.m. and one at 1 a.m. my time. Have to mix them with a whole bunch of water because the already pre-mixed stuff wasn't covered by insurance, because apparently if we put water in something, it makes it not coverable. I don't know. Oh, it's Trucker John. Good to see you, Trucker John. Thank you for stopping by. If New York does the gerrymander, we can be rid of Stefanik. True. We'll get to gerrymandering in a second. We'll go back to that other topic. We'll probably end the show with that. Anyway. So who is Donald Trump beholden to? And why do those people basically imply and tell us that we really need to get rid of this person? And by getting rid of him, I mean legally impeached, removed from office, etc. So Donald Trump wants to build a ballroom. He wants to replace, I think, some part of the First Lady's suite or whatever, and replace it with a ballroom, because he doesn't like the fact that other people, other countries have nice fancy ballrooms, but we have to have a thing outdoors under a tent. And he doesn't like the fact that there's a tent. So he wants to make a ballroom. And so some people initially were like, well, this is just, how is this Doge? How is this governmental efficiency? But he's saying that it's going to come perhaps from some of his money, but it's going to come from outside private contributions to help pay for this. Well, who are those people going to be? What controls are there going to be to make sure that the people who are making these contributions are doing so, ethically, who are going to not expect something in return for helping Donald Trump with his vanity project of this ballroom? And then what favors will Donald Trump have to owe these people for helping him make this vanity project of a ballroom a reality? So there's that. We already talked about on the show several times the fact that you have Trump phones, Trump watches, Trump shoes, Trump coin, the Trump NFTs or whatever. How many foreign interests have funneled money into Donald Trump's own pockets to make it so that, he could make even more money off of these grifts? And again, because it's not illegal for somebody to buy a Trump phone if they happen to live in another country. I mean, the Trump phones are ridiculous because the same model phone without the gold background or whatever is much less. It's much cheaper than what Donald Trump is selling them on the Trump Mobile whatever website. But if you have a bunch of foreign interests who are like, all right, well, I will buy like 10 Trump phones, 100 Trump phones, 1,000 Trump phones. I will buy Trump NFTs. I will buy this. I will buy that because I wanted to get me influence. You had people going to a specific dinner because they bought so much of the Trump coin, the Trump cryptocurrency. If that isn't a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. And now we have Ghislaine Maxwell, who has been moved from a minimum security prison to a lower security prison. So she went from Club Fed prison camp. Apparently she is not welcome in Club Fed, but she moved from one prison to another, and the prison she's now in has less security than her previous prison. And is this a precursor to her being let out, either with a commutation or a pardon or whatever? Is this going to be what happens? And why is this happening? And it's reasonable to assume that the reason why the Trump administration agreed to move her and why other things might happen is because she likely has information on him. she has leverage on him. So if she has leverage on him, she can get him to do actions. So a child sex trafficker, a convicted child sex trafficker, has damning information on him potentially, and can exert that leverage over him. How many other people have that leverage? How many other people, know his skeletons and are going to be able to use his position of power to their own benefit? Just having one person with that much leverage over him should be disqualifying for having him be president, let alone several. And there's no way to know. Which is why it would be important for anybody who claims to be a patriot in the Republican Party to get together with the Democrats and to go ahead and impeach him, because nobody should be serving in the office of the presidency if somebody has that much leverage over you. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous situation for us and our country by having a president who is so easily manipulated because so many people have so much leverage over him. We're screwed as a country. And the fix now, either we have to retake Congress with enough votes to be able to remove him, which is almost near impossible for the Senate, or we need the people in the Senate who are Republicans to grow a goddamn spine and get him removed with an impeachment. So, let's switch to the next one, shall we? Benjamin Netanyahu. I've been very critical of Benjamin Netanyahu on this show. I've criticized Benjamin Netanyahu since before 10/7, 2023. I've disagreed with many of the things he supports, he does, etc. I think he's a war criminal. I think he deserves to be dragged in front of The Hague and imprisoned for his war crimes. Now, so does Hamas. The leaders of Hamas also should be dragged in front of The Hague and put on trial for their war crimes and punished for them. But Israel's leader, Benjamin Netanyahu, says there is no policy of starvation in Gaza, and there is no starvation in Gaza. Now, if he wasn't a complete and utter fool and an idiot, maybe he would have said something to the effect of, it is not our policy to starve the people in Gaza, and that's it. And not said that there's no starvation. But anybody with eyes can look at the pictures coming out of Gaza and see that there's absolutely starvation going on in Gaza. Absolutely 100%. And, I'm not one who's going to believe information coming from Hamas because Hamas is not trustworthy either. But to argue that there's no starvation in Gaza is ridiculous. I mean, even Donald Trump says that he disagrees with Netanyahu's assessment. Even Donald Trump says that there is clearly starvation in Gaza. Looking at those pictures of the emaciated children, Donald Trump says, those children look very hungry. Now, Donald Trump won't care about feeding them, and what he wants to do is he wants to actually ethnically cleanse the entire place, turn it into Trump Med, turn it into a resorts area. But the idea, if people who are still being apologists for this clown. Now, I mean, Netanyahu clearly takes his lead from Trump on almost everything else because Donald Trump is a gaslighter in chief, and so is Netanyahu. Netanyahu's like, oh, this works for Trump. It might work for me too, so that I can, distract everybody. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So, somebody said, one of the people said, this aid delivered in this way is an insult to Palestinian people. Israel asserts that Hamas is the reason aid isn't reaching Palestinians in Gaza and accuses its militants of siphoning off aid to support its rule in the territory. UNN denies that looting and aid is systemic and that it lessens or ends entirely when enough aid is allowed to enter Gaza. Now, I mean, Republicans are often be the ones to say that throwing money at the problem is the issue, but, maybe throwing food at the problem is the issue. It would be better for the people in Gaza that have too much food than too little food. But it's just absurd for him to say with a straight face that there's no starvation in Gaza. Just again shows that Netanyahu has no business leading a country either. You can't sit here and support what's going on in Gaza. And anybody who's going to try and sit here and dehumanize the Gazans, or even worse, especially if you have a family history or a cultural history of having your people starved, unalived, etc. Gazans, the Palestinians, deserve dignity, they have rights. They should have the right to, be able to eat, have a house that's not bombed constantly. They should have the right to live under non-tyrannical rules. They should have the right to not have to deal with constant bombing from Netanyahu. They should have the right to not live under Hamas either. But at least Hamas isn't, saying that the people aren't starving. Now, they could be partially responsible for the fact that they are starving, because there is history of Hamas using its own citizens as human shields, using its own citizens to, to make the plight of the Palestinians look, worse, than it should be, because they know that there's enough people on the planet who will distrust Israel because it's a Jewish state, that they will just believe anything that they say and say that Hamas are freedom fighters or whatever and not terrorists, which they are clearly terrorists. I mean, freedom fighters don't go and sexually assault people at a concert that they're invading and then kidnap children and elderly and etc. So, I mean, this is not to say that I agree with Hamas whatsoever. Hamas sucks. Hamas, again, also deserves to be dragged in front of the Hague. But so does Netanyahu, and the gaslighting from both the Trump administration and the Netanyahu administration should be enough to power continents with that energy. It's disgusting. Hold on a second real quick. So, anyway, I only had to delete my mic. I didn't have to, Cassie wants to go swimming, and the pool's finally ready to swim, although I don't think it's as clear as it could be. Anyway, it will be 1,000-to-1 retaliation after it's all said and done. Net and bomb you. See, Big Hook, that comment makes me mad, because I'm mad that I didn't think of it first. Anyway, what's the last thing I really wanted to talk about? I mean, we might not last an hour either. We might just talk about what I want to talk about and just let it go. And then I'll upload a few things up to YouTube, even though there's no video going along with it. God damn it. Let's go back to the original one, shall we? Of course, the main topic of tonight's show is gerrymandering. You have gerrymandering of Texas that has come out with their maps that would add 5 more Republican seats in Texas. I think Jasmine Crockett's seat would be at risk if they're able to successfully redraw these districts. But then you also have California, who is threatening to gerrymander right back and redraw their lines, and basically say, okay, I think according to the numbers that I saw, that the push would add 9 seats to the Democratic side and take away 9 seats from the Democrats. And look, I'm all for fighting fire with fire. If the Republicans are going to continuously do this gerrymandering and take away the will of the people by, instead of running on better ideas, by just choosing their voters, then California, as a macro way of looking at things, needs to also go counter it. New York should do the same thing too. Problem is, when New York tried to redraw lines, the New York Supreme Court threw it out and said it was unfair. It was unfair to the people in the voters in it was to the voters in New York because they didn't have a proper say. Well, what about the ones going on in the Republican states? We can't stand on principles when it comes to fighting back against the Republican tyranny. That being said, there is a way to fix gerrymandering, and that's to eliminate congressional districts altogether. I've talked about this on the show before, but I'm going to bring it up again because I think it's something that should be looked at the very least. Because the time for having congressional seats, districts, like drawn districts, it's an antiquated idea that's not needed. Back in the 1700s, 1800s, you absolutely needed to have drawn districts. You couldn't have, like, the state of Virginia have, like, slates of candidates, because getting across Virginia is a pain in the ass nowadays driving. And it's still, if you want to go up I-81 from Bristol, Virginia, all the way up to where West Virginia is, that's about 6 hours if there's no traffic. And that's just one side of the state. That's not the entirety of the state. But you can still cross it in 6 hours. How much would it take to cross that if you were on a horseback, horse and buggy or whatever? Much longer. So yes, back in the day, you absolutely needed to have congressional districts because an individual could represent an individual area. But now you don't need that. And now you have gerrymandering goes on where you can have 3 blocks in a city and it can, here's one. You can cross multiple congressional districts over the course of a few minutes, let alone hours or days. You eliminate congressional districts, you eliminate gerrymandering. You eliminate congressional districts and allow people to vote for slates of candidates as well. You then return the House of Representatives back to what it was supposed to be. The House of the people. It's the people's house. It's no longer the politicians who get to redraw maps house. It's the people's house. And these people should get to have their say. If you have a state that's 50% Republican and 50% Democrat, that state should have 50% Republican representatives and 50% Democratic representatives, give or take. Like in Louisiana. Louisiana is 2/3 conservative and 1/3 Democrat, but the Republicans want to change their redrawing of the lines to make it so that they eliminate the second majority-minority district and as such return it so that Louisiana only has one Democratic district. Louisiana is not 1/6 Democrat. Louisiana is 1/3 Democrat. It's also 1/3 black. Problem is, Louisiana, if you had slates of candidates, you would probably have like 2 mainstream Democratic seats. You might have 1 conservative, like Blue Dog Democrat seat, and then you might have like 2 like conservative Republican seats, and then maybe 1 extreme MAGA or 1 Tea Party or whatever you want to call it, maybe 1 libertarian, I don't know, but you would have the people being able to vote for who they want to vote for, because congressional districts are an antiquated idea. You don't, if somebody wants to make a slate of candidates to be like New Orleans Democrats, thinking that they could get at least 1 seat just from the New Orleans people. And if you have somebody living in Shreveport who's like, well, I like the platform of the New Orleans Democrats, I'm going to vote for them. Good that they get to do so. They have their say. And you would even out the problems. You would get rid of politicians picking their voters at least for the House. But unfortunately, we have people who are in power, especially the Republicans, who don't care about the will of the people. They just care about the will of themselves. So we need the people to come together and say, we demand slates of candidates over districts. Undraw the districts, allow people to choose who they want to vote for within the state, and if a slate of candidates gets 2 of the 6 votes in Louisiana, for example, then they'll get those 2 votes. And then if conservative Democrats get together and they want to say, hey, we want to have our own slate of candidates so we can vote for our own people and send a Blue Dog up, then good, then they get to vote for them. And then Republicans, they want to put 3 seats up, or maybe the Republicans want to have 1 that's like maybe the lower, the Southern Louisiana Republican Cajun coalition or whatever you want to call it. And then you have, maybe the Northern Louisiana conservatives might want to have one of their own. But again, they'll vote for who they want to vote for. Maybe there's one that'll be like, we're just the MAGA slate, or we're going to support Donald Trump no matter what he does, and they can be elected for that too. And while I don't want Trump having more say, but it would enable the voters to have the say, and it would make the House of Representatives a much better representation of the people that they're supposed to represent. So, anyway, that's my modest proposal on that. Hey, Susie, what's going on? Good to see you. Unfortunately, Christina, good to see you as well. Yeah, we are not having a very long show today, and we're having an earlier show today simply because of the fact that, not because of my technical difficulties, because my camera's not working, but because of the fact that, you know, I have to plan for my colonoscopy tomorrow. So, Mad Mac, Trump doesn't need a ballroom. He doesn't have any balls. Hilarious. That's also funny. All of y'all making comments that are making me mad because I didn't think of it first. So, anyway. Let's see. You mocked facts, now you're crushed by them. You cheered his lies, now you choke on the truth. How much are people willing to sacrifice for the rich? Unfortunately, a lot of people are willing to sacrifice a lot of stuff for the rich because they don't care. Because all they care about is supporting hair leader Donald Trump. I just realized I had one too many slashes in my date for the show today in my YouTube description of the channel. Oh well, show's almost over anyway, right? So, anyway. Again, this is going to be a short show. I have to start my prep in an hour. I probably have some other things I could do beforehand, and I just don't want to have a show. I don't want to have a show where I'm just like, and then like my stomach goes like, oh, gotta go, bye. Then, all right, I'm back. Nope, gotta go, bye again. Go back. So anyway, thank you all. Suzanne, thank you for joining us as well. Appreciate you. Anybody else who I missed saying hello to, I apologize. Soon you become the water boy. Yeah, that's some high-quality H2O. One of the recommendations is that you get some wipes because too much toilet paper can be rough on you. I'm like, I have bidets. I've had bidets since the pandemic, since there was toilet paper shortages, so I ain't got to worry about that. So, anyway, I don't know when these videos that I recorded real quick will go up. I'll probably just have a short outro, but I wanted to have a quick show to talk about all that stuff before my prep finishes or whatever. But again, thank you all so much for stopping by. Wish me luck tomorrow for my procedure. If I'm awake tomorrow evening, I'll probably go live on nerdydan.com just to, you know, play around a little bit. Maybe I'll figure out my camera issues by then too. Maybe I'll try and figure that out real quick so that I'll have a camera available by Wednesday, or I'll just have to buy another freaking camera. Either way, thank you all so much. Thank you, Aaron, for heading out from Hal and coming over here. Appreciate that. We'll see you all on the flip side. Have a good one. Appreciate y'all. And of course, as to pay homage to what's going on in the Danish or the Denmark Zoo or whatever, with asking them to donate their pets, I figure playing poisoning pigeons in the park is a good show to go out on. So without further ado, thank you so much. Peace. Later.
Spring is here, suffering is here. Life is Skittles and life is beer. I think the loveliest time of the year is the spring. I do, don't you? Of course you do. But there's one thing that makes spring complete for me. It makes every Sunday a treat for me. All the world sings in tune on a spring afternoon when we're poisoning pigeons in the park. Every Sunday you'll see my sweetheart and me as we poison the pigeons in the park. When they see us coming, the birdies all try and hide, but they still go for peanuts when coated with cyanide. The sun's shining bright, everything seems alright when we're poisoning pigeons in the park. We've gained notoriety and caused much anxiety in the Audubon Society. With our games, they call it impiety, and lack of propriety, and quite a variety of unpleasant names. But it's not against any religion to want to dispose of a pigeon. So if someday you're free, why don't you come with me and we'll poison the pigeons in the park? And maybe we'll do in a squirrel or two while we're poisoning pigeons in the park. And maybe we'll do in a squirrel or two while we're poisoning pigeons in the park. We'll murder them all amid laughter at merriment, except for the few we take home to experiment. My pulse will be quickening with each drop of strychnine. Me feed to a pigeon, it just takes a smidgen to poison a pigeon in the park. To a pigeon.
The creative director at WGSO had a little something he thought you should know. When Dan picked on his bits, Steve got real gruff. So Steve called Dan a flake, called him liberal dandruff. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest. Steve's about to find out his mistake. In this feud, Dan's Kendrick, Steve is Drake. Dan might not be the world's best singer, but he's got more talent in his little finger. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest.